Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Majesty King Abdullah and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi reviewed the latest developments related to Palestinian reconciliation. During a telephone call, His Majesty reiterated Jordan's support for Egypt's efforts to achieve this reconciliation and reach an agreement that would end the state of division among Palestinians. A partnership agreement between the Crown Prince Foundation and Airbus Corporation was signed today, in which Airbus will provide educational and training opportunities for a number of engineering students in Jordan. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Hussein attended the signing ceremony, voicing appreciation for this partnership, which will support creativity at the foundation and develop students' skills. Under the deal, the students will receive training for 5 months at the headquarters of Airbus in the French city of Toulouse. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki met with the Justice Parliamentary Bloc as part of a series of encounters with Parliament and various economic sectors to discuss and find solutions to economic challenges. Mulki told the meeting that the government is keen on dialogue and will listen to all views and suggestions before the final approval of the fiscal and economic reform program. The reform package, he pointed out, is a national strategy to address the imbalances in the public finance, reduce the debt to GDP ratio, spur growth, and raise the resilience of the economy in the face of challenges. Minister of Foreign and Expatriate Affairs Ayman Safadi reiterated the importance of resolving the crisis in the Iraqi Kurdistan region. In a telephone call with his Iraqi counterpart Ibrahim al-Jafari, Safadi stressed the need to avoid escalation through dialogue and according to the constitution. Al-Jafari briefed Safadi on measures taken by the Iraqi government to deal with the crisis in a manner that maintains the unity of Iraq and its people. Safadi voiced Jordan's support to the Iraqi government in its efforts toward establishing security and stability, reconstruction, and the establishment of a state of citizenship based on the laws and the Iraqi constitution. And in a separate call, Safadi and his Sudanese counterpart Ibrahim Ghandour stressed the two countries' keen interest to take practical steps to improve relations and cooperation in all fields. Safadi congratulated the Sudanese minister on the lifting of U.S. economic sanctions on Khartoum, saying that Jordan welcomes this important decision. The two ministers also tackled the latest developments in the region and the need to maintain communication to enhance bilateral ties and increase coordination on various regional issues. Israel approved building plans for settler homes in Hebron, a first such move in the occupied West Bank city in about 15 years. The Israeli Planning and Construction Committee approved building 60 new settlement units in the settlement of Nerot, south of Hebron, which will be added to the other 30 settlement units that are in the heart of the old city of Hebron. The old city of Hebron and the vicinity of the Brahimi Mosque is constantly under fierce attack, especially after UNESCO announced Hebron an Islamic heritage city. Palestinians, international human rights institutions, and some international bodies have criticized Israel's continued illegal construction of settlements and undermined all efforts to advance the peace process.
This plan is going to be in the heart of the Palestinian city of Hebron. It's going to increase the number of settlers by 20%. This is a bad decision that Israel is now allowing to expand the settlement, which represent the most ugly face of Israel's occupation.
The U.S. military said it could only confirm that about 90% of the Syrian city of Raqqa had been retaken from Daesh terrorists. The Syrian Democratic Forces said the fighting was over. However, a formal declaration of victory in Raqqa will soon be made once the city has been cleared of mines and any possible Daesh sleeper cells. To Iraq, where the Baghdad government recaptured territory from Kurds across the breadth of northern Iraq. In the second day of a lightning government advance to take back towns and countryside from forces of the Kurdish autonomous region, Kurdish troops pulled out of the long-disputed Khanaqin area near the Iranian border. A Yazidi group allied to Baghdad also took control of the town of Sinjar. Furthermore, government troops took control of the last 2 oil fields in the vicinity of Kirkuk. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi said the referendum is finished and has become a thing of the past. Addressing a news conference in Baghdad, Abadi called for dialogue with Kurdish leaders under the constitution. Kurdistan Regional Government President Masoud Barzani, meanwhile, said the Kurdish vote for independence won't be in vain. In business news, the Dow Industrials breached the 23,000 mark for the first time today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 39.3 points, the S&P 500 gained 0.42 points, and the Nasdaq Composite added 3.98 points. U.S. President Donald Trump is in Germany. A wax figure of Trump is now on display at Madame Tussauds Berlin by popular demand. A spokeswoman at Madame Tussauds said visitors are regularly asked who they would like to see at the exhibition, and Donald Trump was at the top of the list of most wanted figures for the past 14 months. The figure was created in close cooperation with the White House, which sent Trump's body measurements, and 16 specialists worked on Trump for 4 months to make him look as real as can be. And guess who's right next to Trump? No other than Barack Obama. To sports, and in her first match in Russia since returning from a doping ban this year, Maria Sharapova lost to Slovakia's Magdalena Rybarikova in the first round of the Kremlin Cup. The Slovak won the last 5 points of the opening set tiebreak before breaking Sharapova for the first time in the second set to seal the victory in 1 hour and 55 minutes. Sharapova, who 2 weeks ago won the Tianjin Open, lost today 7-6, 6-4. And finally, relatively cold weather prevails tonight with a low of 15 degrees Celsius in Amman. Tomorrow, a rise in temperature is expected, creating moderate conditions across the kingdom, with a high of 26 degrees in Amman, sliding to 17 at night. Further south, the Gulf of Aqaba should expect hot conditions, with mercury levels at 35 degrees, sliding to 21, while winds will be northerly moderate and the seas slightly high. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Aliyah Khan. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.